Welcome to the B-Sides and Beers podcast.
Welcome to B-Sides and Beers, episode 66. Tonight we're talking all things Trent Reznor. What's going on?
Hey, man.
How's it going?
Woo!
I'm good. Feeling good. It's hot. It's hot outside. It's been beautiful. So it's nice to...
Good morning, Vietnam.
Yeah, it's nice to be...
It's hot. It's Africa hot.
What's it like over there?
Oh, it's like 40.
40.
Yeah. Like 36, 37 kind of thing, but like feels like 50.
Yeah.
So
pretty much, there's a niner in there. So.
But it was like this glorious, thunderstorm yesterday. It was just like came from the heavens. It was unbelievable. And then it was over and it was like 40 again. So yeah, I'm not complaining though. No.
Little wins.
Yeah. Hey, if you're listening to this, why don't you rate it? Why don't you review it? Why don't you tell us what you think? Why don't you spread it around and show your friends and tell them too? Because again, we're having a good time doing this. We want to keep it going. So do that for us, please. And we'll tell you what we're drinking today. And Dane, I'm going to you first.
Whoa, okay. I've got a Hoyne Helios because it's so G-darn hot outside. I thought I'd go for the Helios Dortmunder Golden Lager. It's delicious. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen this label. It's like a fairly accurate picture of the sun. And there's a little tiny dot, which is the Earth.
You are here.
Oh, cool.
That's
and it says Hoyne Brewing Company, Earth.
That's cool, Kat. I like that.
So, yeah, pretty sweet. Hoyne's great.
Yeah.
Really like Hoyne. I think they're out of Victoria.
Victoria, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Got an email from him and then didn't. So I think it's just we'll connect again maybe in the fall and see if we can get him on. But he was interested, so that'd be a good one to talk to.
Yeah, totally.
What else you got?
I'm going to follow that up with a. I had this one on before. I'm trying to think of the episode. I think it was the Oasis episode with
Welton.
Sorry, you got it. It's a Power Struggle S'more Golden Stout.
Yeah,
and it's a strong 7.6. Yeah, they're out of Port Alberni. This is hold on, who is this? Power Struggle. Oh, it's Twin City Brewing. There you go. Makes sense. I love Twin City, so this will be good.
Nice.
Last but not least, I grabbed this because I wasn't really sure what it was. It's like it's Russell KPU. Who else? The John Mitchell Scholarship, Yakima Chief Hops, and something else, celebrating 40 years of craft beer in Canada. John Mitchell Signature Cascadian Dark Ale, and it's got Mr. John Mitchell on the front.
Very cool.
Looking
Look at a
happy
dude.
as pie.
So happy. How many pints do you think he's in?
Oh, I don't know. Who knows? I hear he's 40 a day. But Canada's original craft brewer, Mr. John Mitchell. So it's a 5.4. I guess it's Russell who's doing this. And
John Mitchell, we need to get this cat on the program, I think. The original craft brewer. I'm ashamed to say I've never heard of this guy or seen this guy before. So, but I feel like we should. We should know.
Totally, right? So here you go. You learn something new every episode. So proceeds from this John Mitchell Signature collaboration benefit the John Mitchell Legacy Endowed Scholarship for students in, and I'm sorry about this, but the font is really small. The Kwantlen Polytech University KPU Brewing and Brewery Operations Diploma. KPU's program was the first in Canada to be recognized by the Master Brewers Association of Americas for a standard of excellence in brewing education, and it is the only program of its kind.
Wow.
So
Down.
I think it was like a good pull from the shelf.
Hell yeah.
Excellent. Nice. Michael, what do you have tonight?
Well, I have 3 this evening. First one is from Russell Brewing Co. It is a sour strawberry and rhubarb. Sour, yeah. And it's 5%.
See the can on that one. Oh, yeah, that's a cool
It's
can.
very
wow.
berry-y.
Yep.
Super duper. Second one I got here is from Lighthouse Brewing. It's a limited edition Desert Island Peach Gross. Gose.
Peach Gose.
Gose. 4.6.
Gosse.
Yeah.
Excited for that.
Nice.
And the last one here is from Caribou Brewing. I've been a big fan of their stuff for quite a few years now. They're out of, what is this? Prince George. Yep. And this is one of these breweries where I don't understand how they are so inexpensive, because they're a very, very tasty, very quality offering from everything from their honeys to they just came out with this a lager. So I've bought a pack of lagers. They've got them here on sale for like $2 off. So $14 for a 12-pack. That's not bad at all.
No, that's awesome.
Right on. They are nicely priced.
Yeah, and
sometimes you get a hat with their packs of beer.
Hat, man. It's like nice quality too. Like it's I was pretty impressed. It's better than the ones I get like at free at the like baseball games. Like that was always got the logo on it, on the side.
Yeah. And another cool thing about this is they say a partial proceeds go towards reforestation projects. So buy a beer, plant a tree. So nothing wrong with that.
Love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I think somebody's had this, and I had to try it. Went with Parallel 49. I got the Fiesta.
I did.
The lime cerveza. 4.3%, and it's tasty. It just tastes like having a Corona and lime kind of mixed together.
Damn good.
Sounds good.
Perfect for plus 40,000.
Yeah, totally. And then I got tricked on this one, but it's kind of funny. This is good. This is good and just getting wiped off. This is the fucking ale.
Okay.
It's fucking ale. But it says it's the Furnace Kit Enterprises FKN. That's I don't know. And then it says it's from Kamloops, BC, but it says right at the top, made in Calgary, Alberta. So
Oh man.
yeah, and it says on the side like this is some buns fucking beer. There's a label on the side that you're
you can
supposed to
write your
write your
name on
beer
it.
and your name right on your beer. So
Oh, right on.
Brilliant.
I wonder if they're like, what do you call it? Like a gypsy brewery
yeah,
where they don't actually have their own like on-site brewing. They go to other breweries.
it was very shifty when I
And,
checked
like-
out the website. I was like, I don't really know. It's made in
Bunch of-
Calgary, but they make it for Kamloops.
Very gypsy.
Yeah, like questions, comments. There's there's contacts information on there. So, and then the Stanley Park Brewing, the Sunsetter every year, and I haven't tried this one, so I'm going with the pineapple wheat. I've had the melon wheat, I've had the peach wheat, I've had the mango wheat. Going pineapple wheat now. So those
Nice.
are my-
Got to catch them all.
Yeah. I'm pumped. So
Nice.
that's it. Trent Reznor. 9-inch nails. Trent Reznor. All encompassing. Where'd you guys go on this? How'd you do?
Oh man.
There was so much information and so many amazing things, and I've been a massive fan since I don't know, probably mid '90s. Anyway, is when I first came across and just kind of it just grabbed me completely, and even till today, it's a huge he's a huge influence to me, and just obsessed even till today. So.
Nice. So like you kind of started with like Downward Spiral, or like the remixes, or
I
where'd you come in
started
there?
a little bit. I started a little bit later. So Downward Spiral came out in '94. I think I got into it around '90. Well, I knew of them and the videos, but I never really dug deep into any of the Halos and pursuing the singles and being full on until probably '98. Somewhere around
Okay.
there. But as soon as
Yeah.
that happened, it was just, I had to collect everything. I have everything on CD and, everything up until the last 2 albums I haven't got. But
Do you have a copy of Year Zero?
I have Year Zero. Yeah, I bought that one first day it came out. Yeah.
'Cause it's got, I saw it has like a heat thing, like disc 1. if you like hold it up to the heat or cool it, it produces some like code, like zeros and ones.
Oh, yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Just
Some
binary.
binary
Some
Yeah.
binary stuff on there.
machine code.
Yeah.
But interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. What about you, Dave? When did you come in on the scene?
Pretty early actually, and I've been touch and go forever. So I think my uncle Dave was really into industrial.
Thanks, Uncle Dave.
Thanks, Uncle Dave. He was really into Ministry.
Yep.
And of course, with that, in parallel is Nine Inch Nails, Skinny Puppy, that sort of thing. So I remember Pretty Hate Machine. I remember the video for Head Like a Hole. Is that what it's called? Yeah. So I mean, I was sort of into them back then. So I don't want to say it was 89 or whenever it came out, but definitely the early 90s.
Yeah,
and then
92.
Broken, I remember
yeah.
like friends having that EP. I don't know, Mike, you might remember Tyler Fadoon. His brother was really into Nine Inch Nails. Yeah. Like he gave me a leather jacket with like the symbol on the back of it, like on the bottom.
You still have it?
Oh man, I got rid of it because it fit funny. I did it, whatever. But I mean, it was one of his favorite bands, and he was always like, I remember him driving around. And he had like a Corvette. He would like blasting Nine Inch Nails, and we're like, that guy's so cool. But anyway, I remember Broken probably being the first album that I got into, and I was really into. They had a couple videos for that EP, but one of them is. They're like it looks like they're recording a song in the Tate House.
Gave up.
Yeah, and they're all like on their like synths and computers, and it looks so serious and cool. Like Marilyn Manson's on a guitar, and you're like, what?
Yep.
And Trent Reznor looks all disheveled and angry, and it was just
Richard
I remember
Patrick
being one of the cool.
Too.
What's that?
Richard Patrick from Filter in that video
he's
too.
in there too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So there's another band in tandem, and then it looks like I was watching it today. It looks like some dude on the keyboard who looks like Jared Leto. Who knows? Maybe
Probably.
Probably. Just like he's playing around with the Pro Tools or whatever it is. Yeah, exactly. Just doing the binary coding the song as they're filming it for Much Music. Like
doing it right now.
Yeah. Doing it right there on the fly.
Yeah.
But and then of course Downward Spiral on that was like, that's when everyone was like, fuck. Everyone sort of knew them.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there on, I hung out with people who kind of liked them, and I never really got into the later releases for whatever reason. So I sort of like, with Teeth was okay, but that was probably my departure was right there.
Yep.
With Teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started with a kind of a strange relationship with this band just because, like, my sister was a huge Depeche Mode fan, like huge Depeche Mode fan, right? So this was kind of like when I first heard like the Pretty Hate Machine, it was like, all right, like that's kind of like Depeche Mode kind of like style, and I listened to a lot of it through osmosis through my sister, right? Like whether I liked it or not,
Right.
I was listening to it, and like to this day, I'm not a huge Depeche Mode fan, and I've listened to a lot. So
Fair enough.
you know, and then I was like, I kind of wrote it off, and then I didn't really pick it up again until again when I saw somebody had that Broken EP, but I never again. I kind of wrote it off. I was like, yeah, that's that like synth pop band. Like that's
I thought you had it. I thought you had that EP because I wound up borrowing it off of someone and had it for like a extended period of time.
maybe.
But-
Maybe it's definitely possible, but
Anyway.
yeah. And then I think it was all again back to '94. Like it was Crow soundtrack.
Yeah.
It was Crow soundtrack that kind of brought me back, and I was like, okay, I'm like, this song's pretty
Right.
cool. Like this doesn't sound like
Yep.
Depeche Mode. And then and then I go back and I was looking at like the Lollapalooza stuff in '91, and it's like they like guitar driven the whole like Pretty Hate Machine like on stage. Like there's barely any synthesizer on, and it's
Yeah.
like
Yep.
beeps and bops in the first right on the album, right? But like in live, it's like, okay, well this cuts way heavier, like
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of where the evolution of it for me. And then I saw them, after their Woodstock '94 performance, and you saw that on TV or Much Music or wherever they were showing it, and you were like, whoa, like
That changed everything.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
watched that too today, and just to look at some of that live stuff, but
That Woodstock, that Woodstock show is amazing.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
So much
Yeah.
mud.
Yeah, they're covered in mud and shit.
yeah.
Like it's perfect. It really just like completely it was like they came out not wearing costumes but wearing costumes. I don't know how to explain.
Oh yeah, they was just like
And-
played the whole part, like there was the whole show, right? And I don't think the crowd was expecting that. I think that
No.
they were not expecting that moment.
Well,
All their
Woodstock 90,
tech is covered in mud.
everything, guitars, key, everything. Well, it's that Woodstock was basically the introduction to the world for Nine Inch Nails. I mean, Pretty Hate Machine, it sold very well. And then right after that, so 89 and then 92 Broken EP comes out, and then 94 Downward Spiral comes out. And they were selling, but they weren't a worldwide music name. And as soon as they got on to 94 there and that show, it changed everything.
Absolutely.
If you didn't know who they were, you did after that.
Yeah. You read that like and right now, like Pretty Hate Machine in 2022 sounds pretty cool. I like it.
Totally. It's brilliant.
It's got that sort of like 80s vibe to it, but it's completely different and ahead of its time.
Mm-hmm.
But Trent was certain that no one was going to hear it. So I think he sort of let his guard down and just, put out an album for the sake of doing it. But Broken was, I think, their way to get out of that deal with TVT or what was the name of that company. And they did it, without telling anyone.
Yeah, like pseudonyms and recording it like underground kind of thing, right? Like, and it's such a big departure for Broken from Pretty Hate Machine. But I agree with you. I think it still stands up, right? Like, but I don't know. Maybe you guys got more information on this, but like, it just kind of like, it's funny how the timeline goes when I was doing kind of background research on him, because it just is like he's a janitor, trying to find time here and there, and he's recording Pretty Hate Machine at this recording studio, and then all of a sudden, like he has like multiple like companies that are interested in signing him, and he's like got it recorded by or produced by Flood, and I'm like, how did he have like all these connections? And then it was just like boom, I'm like now I'm on Lollapalooza in '91, like. It just like took off. And I have no idea like where the connection was. Like, did he know somebody? Did he, like I know he was hanging out with David Bowie and guys like that later, but like, was there any entry point there?
He must have had some sort of connections through Right Track Studio where he recorded it.
Yeah.
And then when he's doing his janitorial stuff and he's after hours learning how to use the technology and all the gear that's in there, and he writes and records everything other than drums, but I think most of it was just drum machines anyway. So he did all the drum machines, the vocals, the keys, the everything for Pretty Hate Machine. And then, yeah, I mean, it was what, 2-3 years after, because he only started the Nine Inch Nails thing in 88. So 89 Pretty Hate Machine, and then 92 they're technically 91 they're looking for a way to expand, and it's expanding from just Trent, where it's everything is him for Pretty Hate Machine, to now, okay, he's brought in some other guys to help him out, and he's found other artists. He's we talked about Marilyn Manson, where he discovered Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids, and then kind of took him under his wing, and taking it from there, and then producing Manson's first 3 albums. Smells Like Children, Antichrist Superstar, and Portrait of an American Family. I mean, that's such a big jump to go from, like you said, from nobody knows him and I have one album that I'm putting out, to now I'm producing everybody and making some of the most brilliant, industrial metal albums ever.
Yeah, like it's like the greatest story ever. Like 1989, this guy's a janitor, and he's stinking and dunking in between, trying to get times. And 2 years later, he's on stage in Lollapalooza. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is, it went real fast then, right? Like, he had a lot of interest, and then it just took off from there, and the rest is history. Like, wow.
But he was doing something that no one else was doing. He was doing something that, sure, there was industrial music, and sure, there was a lot of acts that were doing the synth thing, but nobody sounded like Nine Inch Nails. It was just this specific thing. And when Pretty Hate Machine comes out, it was like, the people that actually start getting this album, everybody's floored that it's a one-man band. How is, so the word of mouth goes pretty far that way too. But
I think so. And Mark Ellis Flood, or however you call his name, I think he probably had a big influence in getting Trent Reznor to like the masses. Like, this guy had already done work with like U2. Who else here? Depeche Mode. So it was sort of within that area. But again, like, Trent Reznor was the total package. Like, not only was he a brilliant producer and musician, he also had this sort of like vibe, right? He had this sort of, like pained artist with something to say about like the state of the world and whatever. And he did it in a very aggressive way, which was perfect for the early 90s, right? Like, that's what was hitting.
Yep.
Do you think it still stands up, that image though, after time? Or do you think that he's changed enough to, you know what I mean? He's obviously changed to stay relevant. He's nonstop made music since that moment. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I remember like when With Teeth came out, and some of the people that I was hanging out with in university were all like,
meh.
Nah, he's off drugs now.
Yeah.
The anger is gone. At that point,
The edge is
anger
gone. He's
the
fat.
edge is gone. After he got everything done in the Fragile, and then took 6 years off.
Yeah. I mean, which is a terrible thing to say, but
no, it's tough though.
I think
it's another aging rock star, right? Like, it's just, it's tough.
And I think he's navigated his career brilliantly.
Totally.
But no, you can't be this strung out, like skinny, starving, industrial metal artist forever.
Yeah. And you start making money and you're a little less angry at the world.
Yeah. I mean, Marilyn Manson is trying to do it right now, and it's just
stop it.
Yeah, it's just
good.
No.
Yeah.
But sorry. I mean, like, I think his work still stands up.
Yeah. Everything.
When you go back to it.
Yeah. Well, from albums to movie soundtracks to video game soundtracks, he's still crushing it.
Yeah. And you know what? I went back and I looked, and I was like, what's the first one that he did? And he did Natural Born Killers in '94. He produced that album. So, he didn't do all the music on it, but there was Nine Inch Nails stuff on there. And that was the kind of the brilliant thing too. Like, all these other soundtracks that he did before he started doing like composing and stuff, he'd just throw in like some Nine Inch Nails songs, right? And it would just be in the mix. And it was like, well, what a great vehicle to get your song on there, right? Because
Totally.
you are
Yeah.
Nine Inch Nails, so you know.
And
Absolutely.
and it fits the music, the feel of the music, or feel of the movie. When you look at Natural Born Killers and The Crow and Lost Highway, it's perfect.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Lost Highway and I haven't seen that movie in such a long time, and I kind of went back
It's
to
so
the plot
good.
today too, just to look it over.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's been a long time, but David Lynch.
So dark, so messed up. Yeah, David Lynch.
Yeah, David Lynch, right? I mean, it's all just creepy,
Yeah.
cool, weird
Yeah,
people
right? Like it's
in that equation. But I think Trent Reznor, what he really excels at is he takes, this is just from my own experience. When you listen to his music, and especially like after Pretty Hate Machine, it feels like you're in this like post-apocalyptic world where there's robots trying to beat you up.
Yep.
It just feels like an assault on the senses in a completely different world. He creates this sort of atmospheric, different experience.
Yep.
And I think it translates nicely into like scoring movie soundtracks. He's just like that good at like bridging the gap between like, the art of producing music and adding or augmenting, film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah, totally. I agree with that. Like it's just it's almost kind of like Johnny Greenwood, for Radiohead. It's like soundscapes. Trent Reznor's always good at setting the soundscapes, right? And
oh my God, yeah.
and that sets the whole mood, right? Like, and I go back to even like Year Zero, and I think of that feel of that whole album, and it's got a totally different feel than With Teeth, and it has a totally different feel than Downward Spiral, right? Like,
Yeah.
but and all the stuff that he did behind that album too, and all the like the Easter egg stuff and the USB, in the bathrooms and like just brilliant, right? Like such a cool idea to do all that stuff and to have all this like backstory and game to go along with it,
So interactive.
Yeah, it reminds me of The Game.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is.
The Michael Keaton movie?
Michael Douglas.
Sorry,
Sean
Michael
Penn.
Douglas.
Yeah. Oh man, that movie still
Yeah,
messes
great
me
movie.
up. It still messes me up because you never know if it's over or not.
Right. But yeah, okay. So maybe we should explain a little bit so Year Zero,
Oh yeah. So they just
the promotion behind that album.
he did like he hired a company that just basically planted all of these different things that created essentially a game for anybody that was into it, and like he left a USB stick in the bathroom during one of the European tour dates, and obviously somebody found it, and it had like one of the songs off of Year Zero that hadn't come out yet.
And linked codes to these weird websites that were linked to other websites that were very cryptic, that were,
Yeah. Highlighted letters on the tour shirts. That was the
scrambling codes.
URL.
Yeah.
And
They got cell phones too.
so-
Like these solely a select people got cell phones there, and they got text messages.
They had to meet at a certain spot for like a private concert, and then like a fake like SWAT team came in. Can you imagine? You're just like,
awesome. Just so much. Yeah.
yeah.
Love that.
But the real cool thing is like, I think the overall theme was, so website people from the future, they sent websites back to 2007 or whatever, warning of a dystopian future,
Which is 2022,
and the
by the
year
way.
which is 2022.
Have you
exactly.
read the concept though? Like when you read the concept of the album, I'm like,
Like we're pretty much
that's
there.
pretty much it. It was like one thing at the end where I was like, that's not happening yet, but the rest of it is like,
Yeah, just give it a month. No, it will be like the Christian Morality Federal Bureau will be knocking on our door, like, come with us.
it's gonna happen. 2022 is just getting started. We're only halfway there.
Yeah. But super fun. I mean, why not? A lot of people really liked it, and a lot of people said that it was a gimmick. But
Yeah.
One
He
hell of
said
a
it was
gimmick.
about the art, right?
One hell of a gimmick if it is, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it gets your fans involved in a time where nobody buys anything anymore. Nobody has any investment in a band anymore. You don't. It's so hard to say that, this band that came out now is my band and I'm going to buy everything and support them and go to shows, and it doesn't happen anymore. So to have that extra where it gets you interested and you're fired up to find the next clue, and not everyone can figure it out. You get the one guy that stumbled into the bathroom of that one show to find the one USB stick and decide to put it in his computer to see what the hell was on it, because it doesn't say Nine Inch Nails on the stick.
TRENT REZNOR.
Or someone could have just or someone could have just
Please return to
property of, but they could have just as easily went in there and either left it or grabbed it and threw it in the garbage or tossed it in the toilet, and then no one would have followed that lead. So it's just unreal.
When you think about, so that was 2007. That's when stuff was becoming, I mean, obviously there was Napster and LimeWire before that,
Still
but
early.
I remember, so 2007 was the year I graduated from university. And I remember kicking back, and I had this weird site that I found that just had movies for free.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I think the beginning of, the music industry going like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Because stuff is getting leaked like crazy on the internet. This is before like streaming services like Spotify. Mm-hmm. I think there was like Shark Fin or something weird like that.
Pirates
out there.
Bay
But,
and
Pirate Bay,
torrent
torrent sites were starting to become like really popular among people. And I think this was like a really interesting sort of reaction to that environment, which was, no one, it was sort of like undefined at that point.
Totally. And Trent was screwed over by record labels so many times. There was one big show that he had a blowout in, was it Australia or New Zealand, where, by the end of the show, he was just, telling everyone just to, F these guys, start steal our album, steal everything. Don't, steal it and share it and steal it and share it. 'Cause it's like, I've been getting ripped off for so many years that I'm not getting the money anyway. So just steal it.
Right. What's it with Australia that just makes like live shows go off the wall? Like
too many deadly animals.
Reverse swirling toilets.
Too much heat and everything wants to kill you. Reverse swirl toilets.
Everything just goes sideways in Australia. But anyway, I think you're right. I think it's, you hear about the music industry and just the sort of like the BS that goes down. And he's definitely not a guy to lay down and let it happen. He'll write a song about it and then make a crazy like art experience where you can like get leaked tracks and cell phones and experiences and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. How much fun would that be to do that though? Like if you had,
Unreal.
that much of a following and that if you put a USB stick in the bathroom, somebody's going to throw it in there, computer.
Yeah.
It just is so cool to be able to have that and then, to use it to your advantage and have fun with it, right? Like and turn it into art. I don't think it's a gimmick at all. Like that is the art,
100%.
right?
Yep.
The art is the entire experience of, and I love an immersive experience like that. And in today's day and age, it just is. It's different. It was different for 2007 too. So,
Definitely, yeah.
I went through these ghosts a little bit. I hadn't really listened to them. Is there any vocals on these at all, or is it just?
I don't know. I couldn't get into it. It's the thing with Nine Inch Nails. I mean, for the most part, I sort of fell off. I bought with teeth and I put some time into it, and there was a couple tracks, but going, rewinding to our thought of, the anger's gone, the edge is gone, it just didn't do anything for me. And then I got Year Zero hoping, you see the cover and it's like, this is awesome. And you dig into it and you give it a couple listens and it's just kind of And then I let it go for a bit and then picked up The Slip and that was meh. And then just going down the list, it was just very, I don't know. I had no connection to it. So every time that I've gone back and given to attempt it, it just has done nothing for me. So
Yeah.
Industrial's hard for me. It's great. I mean, there's a couple of tracks from Ministry that I love, that I'll always love. I hear it and like I get goosebumps. And same with Nine Inch Nails. But like, man, it's sometimes it. I mean, these people are, you know, Trent Reznor was known to be depressed and have anxiety disorder, and like he had his issues, and you know, a lot of geniuses or like very talented people do struggle with those types of things, but and the art that comes out of it is not simple. It's not something that you can just easily digest and be like, yeah, what a great track.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough when it's plus 35 outside and you're listening to something super heavy and dark and buzzy, and your brain is rattling, and you're like, oh my God, I need to listen to something like Jack Johnson. This just to cleanse my spirit, man.
Yeah, I can't listen to the double album of The Fragile in plus 40 summer heat by the beach.
Ooh. Like, it's an experience.
It's
but
amazing from
it's
the back,
tough,
but
man. It's hard to stay. I mean, like this, the previous episode we talked about Motorhead. Consistent, great, but and I feel the same way with this. It's fairly consistent, but man, it really does. It's like sparring with your brain, and it gets to you after a while.
Yeah, I think that maybe that's the point. But I think of like going back to The Fragile. You know, I think of Somewhat Damaged, and the very first track on there, and you know, I there's something about that song, and then I don't know what it is, but then like a few years later, and then again I read it just this week that like that was one of the songs that they used for like in Guantanamo Bay, like for torturing. Like it was one of the songs, like, and I was like, yeah, like I can see that, you know, like it's just one of those songs that is just. I don't even know how to explain it, but it has a lot of physiological reactions, you know,
there you go.
And through all albums, not just The Fragile or just that song, but like where you have like a physiological reaction where you're like, that either hurts my ears and you like it, or you don't like it, or it happens too often, or whatever it is. But I think it's made to make you feel something. Right.
Yeah.
And it does it. It does
Yeah.
it very well, right? Whether or not it's uncomfortable for you or not, that's what it's supposed to be. So mission accomplished again, right? That is the art.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. You know, like really it is. It's brilliant, right? When you can feel that, that's totally different. So
that's
I mean,
what-
not all art is meant to be mass consumed
Right.
again and again and again and again, and it's tough. I mean, he's got to make a living, but I mean, I don't think it's fair to me to say that, like, you know, in 2005 he just lost his edge. I mean, it's still very edgy and very, but it's somewhat predictable, and it's not like you're jumping into a new world anymore. You're just like, all right, am I ready to feel uncomfortable and like spooked out for the next hour? I don't know.
did you
It's
guys
just
watch? Have you
easier
watched any
to
live
digest.
footage from like 2008 and newer?
Yep.
And then I looked at I watched something from like 2018, and you know, like him doing March of the Pigs in 2018 is just I don't know, it's
Right.
not the same. It's not the same, and I can't disrespect it, and you know what I mean. But it's just it's not the same. So you know, I kind of did a little bit of you know, like I said, 91, 94. You know, 99, 2000-ish, and then I kind of went up, and I was like, what's he been doing lately? Like, what's going on now, right? So, but yeah, it's just a lot of soundtrack work, and
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
right? He did the Soul, Pixar Soul.
Yeah.
And and that was the thing. That was the first, because I said the same thing. I was watching the Lollapalooza, maybe no, it was the Woodstock one, and the first comment on it is, this guy's the guy who made the the soul music for Pixar. And
Yeah.
I was like, really?
Yeah.
I looked
No
it up.
way.
And I'm like, yeah, there it is. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, that's cool. Like he's
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can do that now. That's great.
Because you got so.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah.
no, it was
He just
fun to go back into those old videos. Like, and did you guys see the closer video?
oh yeah.
The original one? Like,
I
I
did.
never
I
had seen
have-
the original like real one because I don't think it was
Yeah,
like
what did it?
too much for much, right? Like it was.
I have the
Right, right.
double VHS cassette pack of all their a lot of the unreleased stuff. Yeah, it's the stuff that's on there is too much for much. So,
Well, it's the only music video that's been like it's in like permanent. What I forget what they said, but it's at the Metropolitan Museum of Art or Modern Museum of Art. That's what it is, and it's like there
in
yeah,
MoMA?
like and it's considered one of the greatest music videos of all time. They said, and I was like, I gotta see this, I gotta watch this. So I
Okay.
found it on like a third party site, and yeah, you gotta watch it. It's it's Trent Reznor being racy.
yeah.
And
Yeah. And like, the
It's sexy.
well, not even that. It's there's videos in there that are so realistic, and the art producer and director, the things that he did for these, like it's some of these videos are borderline snuff films, and it's if you don't know that it's a music video, it's very it's not for mass consumption.
Are both you guys watching it?
No,
right?
I
don't have the
watched it
bandwidth
already.
to do
No,
this and
no,
watch
no.
this. I can
I'm
see
not
like
watching
the
it right
screen
now.
flickers on your faces,
No, I
and
was-
you guys are like, "This shit's
No,
crazy."
I'm not
Yeah,
watching
no,
it.
I was trying to remember the name of this. I was digging it up. It's Closure is the double VHS that I have, and yeah, just the stuff on it. It's mind blowing, and it's amazing, and it's super. It's art, but it walks and it pushes a line. It doesn't walk a line. It pushes a line where there's things that you can't show on, to the regular public that don't understand what's going on.
Hey man, there's a
And that
monkey
don't
on
understand that
on a
it's
cross
fake.
in that video.
Yeah. Monkey in a cross, and throbbing heart, and a guy that's getting murdered by this machine, and it's
This is all
unreal.
in the video closer.
it's on Closure. It's on that and the double cassette, but yeah, it's one of those. They made this music video and they couldn't play it, and it just kind of disappeared. And
But he's in it lots.
It
Like,
became
he's in it quite a bit.
well, it became the point where you had to get a bootleg of a copy of a bootleg of someone sharing to, this was pre-internet, this, to the point where you could actually download a huge file or share a movie. I mean, it was 97, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what, man? I'm kind of
And you know
making a
what was
connection
crazy?
because, like, he talked about how he was very impressed with Prince and the fact that he
Mm-hmm.
played all the instruments on his albums. And you got there's a little bit of a Prince vibe there, right? Like,
Yep, yep.
he's got that sexual side of Nine Inch Nails, right? Like, it's kind of got that same kind of thing like Prince a little bit, right? It's just got a little bit of that extra on it.
They're neighbors, actually. You didn't
Yeah.
know that?
Yeah, Paisley Park, hanging out outside Paisley Park. Oh, and I saw the Nine Inch Nails strobe light. Did you see this? Okay,
No.
well, it was like a fake album that Trent Reznor came out with, and it was actually like in a beef like response to Chris Cornell's Scream album. Have you
Really?
Yeah, and I had not heard this Chris Cornell Scream album, but it was produced by Timbaland. So
Yeah.
it's
Nice.
That was the album that he tried to get into more of a hip hop.
yeah,
thing.
he's like smashing his
It
guitar
was
on the
awful.
front cover of the album, and then it's just like
awful.
beeps and
so
soundscapes by Timbaland, and he's just kind of
so bad.
rapping behind it. I don't even know how to describe it. It was very painful to listen to a little bit of it. But
Yep.
anyways, Trent Reznor came up with this whole like fake album, and it had like all these like you have to look it up. It's got all these different tracks, and then of course like fans like made a version of it. You know, it
Awesome. I love the internet.
that happened. So, anyways, and then it would led me to Chris Cornell's Scream. So, I highly recommend that you don't listen to that album. It just
It's so awful.
it's not. I can see why he kind of made fun of it, but in the end, he ended up apologizing to Chris Cornell and like his whole family. But I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guy just said.
Did you guys?
Go ahead.
Did you look into like the cover album, like the artwork for all the covers on the albums? No. They're all super artistic, very abstract. I'm just trying to like see if there's any sort of connection here, because like the one that really caught me was the Fragile, and like it just looks like molten blood, just like drowning what would be like the original cover, and then like Downward Spiral, obviously, who knows? They're all kind of dark but very abstract, and I'm wondering if you guys like.
I just remember the packaging.
Into it.
I remember the packaging on those albums. You know, like
for the Downward Spiral was like it was so elaborate. There was like 2 little jackets or was it just one for the booklet? I remember 2 for some reason.
Oh, and even like the broken one had like it was like one of the first ones I saw that had not a jewel case. It was
right.
Just,
it was like
gatefold or whatever you want to call
cardboard.
it. Cardboard
fold.
Right? I remember that too. But and even the Fragile, the Fragile was like a 4 like fold out one too, right?
Yep.
Like it was like a double fold. So
I'll have to dig all those up for pictures for the socials because I've got them all. All the singles. I've tracked them down, every single one. So
I'd like to see those. And you know what? His most disliked song is "The Perfect Drug."
really,
Yeah, he said that's the one that he dislikes the most. He said it was like made too quickly, and it was for the soundtrack, and he didn't like the way it came out, and he said it's a little cringy listening to it. And I'm like,
yeah, that doesn't make sense because it's brilliant from front to back, and those drums, man, hot damn.
yeah, like it's unbelievable. It's one of the best tracks, I think.
Yep, it's way up there.
Yeah, interesting. And the video,
was great.
Absent.
Yeah, with the dagger and the going through the.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah,
another good topic, gents. Another good one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, totally. And it really, he just kind of can keep going with the soundtracks now, right? Like he can just kind of do that. I think so. And, I'm assuming he's probably in high demand for that, so he can just
totally
keep rolling on that.
And he gets bored of doing a movie one. He does a video game. I mean, going back to the Quake soundtrack, the first Quake, first person shooter from '96. It was, front to back him, and he can just do it whenever he wants. So
yeah, got a pretty well established name, so just go for it.
Yep.
Awesome.
Keep going, Trent. Keep going.
Keep going, man. Yep. Keep selling it. It's working.
All right, we want you guys to subscribe, share, and review this podcast. Keep it going, keep it strong, because we're having a great time entertaining you guys with B-Sides and Beers podcast.